All right. Okay, so we're now live. You ready? All right. Hello, everybody. This is
Microphone activated.
uh.
Microphone muted.
Let me make sure that I actually deactivate this for a second here.
Disconnected.
All right, everybody. It's Drew. Making a very special video today concerning Daybreak's recent decision regarding suspending my account. I just wanted to make this video to address that particular reason behind it, and also to get more insight as to why exactly that happened. So that way, if other people are experiencing this problem as well, they don't get shafted or shaded, or they don't think they think that they are just like myself. They think that they are right, and they want to make sure and they want to fight for their right to keep playing the game. But before I talk about me, I want to quickly hand over the mic to a very special guest. Some of my fellow players who play with me may hear this guy in the mic every now and then, but he is a former hardcore DC Universe player. And I'm talking hardcore people. Um, those that play USPC, you know how hardcore I am. I'm online every day. I'm running stuff. I'm getting stuff done. I'm supporting the game. I'm pumping money into this game because I love to play the game. And this guy was just like me, but unfortunately, he is no longer doing that anymore. He has chosen not to play this game anymore for several reasons, and he's going to talk about his reasons why he no longer plays the game, and what are some things that will make him play the game more. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and shut my mouth, and I want to hand over the microphone to my good friend and again former hardcore DC Universe player, Bart.
Alright, thank you. Well, yeah, just like Drew said, I'm a longtime player of DC. I've played when the game first came out, not a week after it released. I had the game, I had the Batman figurine, I had it all, I was a hardcore subscriber, probably about 4 years running, on and off the last year or so. But a few of the concerns that I had, or the reason why I particularly stopped playing, uh, first and foremost, the support. Um, from the beginning, SOE was great on support. They weren't always spotty, weren't always great, but they had some areas where they were spotty. But for the most part, if there was a reason, they gave you a proper reason. If there was a problem, they got it done, they got it taken care of. And that's one of the big things and major things that made me stop playing. Another thing is, unlike Drew, I wasn't a heavy hardcore PvEer. I played PvE, just to get by, just to get feats or whatnot, and just to participate with the content because I was paying for it. But I was a hardcore PvPer, and that's what I did all day in, day out PvP. And some of my bigger concerns was just the constant changes, the constant reworks, and the constant power changes that just made some power stronger, made this power weaker, kind of the flavor of the month kind of thing they had going. And I think a lot of that came down to maybe changing from SOE to Daybreak, that transition that started happening a lot more and more frequently. And just overall, just the whole, in the community, and that's another big thing, the community. Not many players are on. I mean, I know a lot of you are probably heroes, but I mean, if you've ever went to the villain side, you'll see maybe 5 or 6 people stand in the Hall of Doom on USPC, and that's another big concern I had with DC. Uh, but for the most part, that was the issues I had. Just the balancing issues, a bit of the support with the uh, well, with SOE, like I said, it was okay, but Daybreak, they don't really respond fast, and they're a little biased on what they do. And with what happened to him recently, I mean, I've never heard of that in PvP. Like I said, I'm a hardcore PvPer, and I've never heard them say that you can't, you can't lose if you want. I mean, I remember days I would just sit in the, in the matches and lose, because I just wasn't up for it, But that's what was my choice. So I never heard that, but what I would think to get me back in the game if I ever want to play DC again, um, it would have to be balancing on the damage, a lot of damage balance. I think they need to make well, I'm a PvPer, so again, I'm biased as far as PvP. But what would make me come back is the PvP structure and the support, and that's just making the support roles in PvP more viable and just balancing the powers, not making one more overpowered than the other. And again, support. I think they really need to touch back up on support and listen to the players, and I think that's where they got off track. They stopped listening and caring. So that's my personal opinion. I will always be a long time DCUO player fan, and I will be waiting for it to come back. If it does, great, I'll be back. If not, well, I had fun. But thank you, Drew, for putting me back on, putting me on the mic to speak to my fellow DCO fans, and thank you guys.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Bart, for sharing with us your experiences and why you left the game and what are some things that will make you come back. Always a privilege to have other people say their piece. Now it's finally my turn, Drew's turn to talk about main reasoning behind this video, and also we'll touch on Bart's information. Recently, some of you may know this. If you don't, now you will. My account got suspended by Daybreak, and the reason behind the suspension is again why I'm creating this video. The reason behind the suspension, and I'm gonna make sure that I quote it. Just so you're looking at your screen. Okay, this is from GM X Search. Okay, I was paying players to participate in my PvP matches, okay, and paying them in-game cash. All right, in-game cash that, of course, I'm entitled to. And according to this particular GM, okay, quote unquote, you are in essence exploiting the game, which is a violation of the DCUO rules of conduct. Trading cash for intentional PvP losses is not intended gameplay, whereas replay badge resets is a normal game mechanic. I am sorry if you do not agree with us. However, this is how our policies stand. All right. So basically, I was offering 1 million cash for each player that participates in my PvP matches. Now, just like Bart mentioned earlier, we all know how dead PvP is right now. Okay, it is a wasteland. If you're trying to get 8v8 feats or 4v4 feats, it is hard, really difficult at this point in time to get those feats. And I'm sure even with crossplay coming up, it's still going to be challenging, especially for those who already have those feats. If you've already gotten some of these feats, you don't really have a reason to run those stuff anymore. You may do it for fun, but you don't really run those stuff anymore. So, me being a PC player, US PC, again, it's a wasteland in the PvP department. All right. So, me knowing this, okay, I decided to spice things up by giving players a reason to join me. All right. So, if you already had the feats, you were going to get paid 1 million cash just to join me, okay, just to be a part of my group and help me with my feats, okay. If you didn't have the feats, now you have even more reason to join me because now you're going to get feats plus you're going to get cash, all right. But according to this GM and according to what he's telling me or what he's mentioned, we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to form PvP matches with any type of incentive and intentionally win or lose. Okay, I know it sounds ludicrous, but this is what we're dealing with. At least this is what I've been told by this particular GM. Now I want to go ahead and also go back to game update 43 from Maps. Okay, game update 43. This was back in December of 2014. Okay, this is when the changes were made to where if you don't participate in PvP matches, you don't earn rewards. Okay, I'm sure we all know about this. So if you go into a PvP match and you don't do anything, you just sit down there Cadillacing, then you won't get any reward for doing that. Okay, so you have to at least throw a punch or throw a kick or at least throw something, all right, to get some type of reward. But taking his word for word, on what he himself mentioned, this is again MEPS talking now. So we're going to talk about PvP Arena and Legends rewards. Quote unquote, again from MEPS. A number of heuristic methods have been deployed in PvP matches to detect when individual players are not participating, as well as when matches are being thrown. Meaning, one team is handing the other team a win. When an individual fails to participate, that individual will not receive rewards, which again we all see. Okay? Repeatedly failing to participate or throwing matches may result in account sanctions. I think that last part right there is critical. Repeatedly failing to participate or throwing matches may result in account sanctions. Let's quickly talk about that and what that means. I think this is where the gray area of this means right here. What does it mean to participate? What does it mean to participate in a PvP match? Well, I don't understand that. I mean, what does it really mean? Now, for me, again, I'm just using common sense. Participating could go very well, could be many things. Okay, it could just be you throwing a punch and throwing a kick, and that's it. That's all you've done, and so now you don't care about the rest of the match. You did participate. You did something, okay, and you will receive something because you did something in the match. Or participating could also mean that you are hardcore into the match, you're passionate about it, and you want to go ahead and you want to try to win the match. Now, we all know that there's a reward system for winning a PvP match and losing a PvP match. Okay, so if you win, you get more rewards. If you lose, you get something. All right. So if somebody doesn't really care about PvP, like myself, I'm not like Bart. I am a hardcore PvE player. Okay, we all know this about Drew. I'm a raider. I'm a content player. That's what I am. Okay, that's my passion in this game. That's what makes me very successful in what I do. Is every time I log into this game, I'm all about the PvE. This monthly content that's being released, I'm excited about that because it's feeding me. It's feeding my appetite, my hunger, my thirst for content. That's me. Okay, I don't care too much about PvP. I only care about the feats. So with that being said, of course, someone like me, I'm not going to want to go into PvP and overwork myself and overdo myself and try and, work super hard for these feats because I don't care too much about it, about PvP. I just want to get in there and get my feats, okay, as quickly as possible. It's the same thing with someone like Bart. Bart is a hardcore PvP player. That's what he does. He doesn't care about content. So, but he does care about feats because he wants to be the best PvP player possible. In order to do that, you need to make sure that your skill points are as maximum as possible. So he's gonna jump into PvE, but he's only there for feats, and he's gonna do whatever it is that he can do to get those feats as fast as possible. So speaking on back to me, because I want to get PvP feats as fast as possible, I'm gonna use every resource available to me to get those feats as fast as possible. And for me, that means giving people a reason to join my groups. Okay. Just again talking about all of this issue regarding losing PvP matches and why it's so important for Daybreak to realize that this is not an exploit. This is not something that players like myself are doing to be spiteful or whatnot, or to destroy the game in any way form. We're doing this because we are allowed to do this. Okay, we can do this. If I want to lose a match, I'm entitled to do that. Okay, if me and John group together and we have an understanding of what we're being grouped together for, and he knows that I need 5 wins for a feat, then he's going to go ahead and give me those wins so that way I can get my feat. What's wrong with that? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But again, according to this GM, it's not allowed. It is not allowed. Let me kind of also give an example of what I do here in the game. I'm going to go ahead and log into the game right now just to give everyone an idea of what I do when it comes to PvP matches, so that way you have an understanding of everything that Drew does. So just give me just a second to log in. Log in right now. Bart also wants to add something to his comment. Let me go ahead and hand him over real quick so that way he can say what he has to say. Bear with me here.
Um, well, also I want to speak more about what he said as far as him not caring too much about PvP. So he's gonna focus on PvE. And I like to make show an example. I know you see in chat many times people advertise 100K here to join for a raid or 100K here for alert or whatever. Many times I've been I paid for to join a PvE match to help them finish a match in PvE. Run an 8-man. They give me 100K, and I never had a problem with the GM. I never heard anything like that. Also, at the same time, I feel like that GM was being biased towards him because if you look at the PvP scene today, not many players are on. I mean, I haven't ran a 16-man. I mean, you're not gonna get 16 people unless you full-fledged organize it, and you have to struggle to find people. So what Drew did was not only got people into PvP, but he paid them to participate. So now you got the PvP scene working again. And to me, I felt like that wasn't a problem. And honestly, I mean, I just felt like it wasn't a problem, and it shouldn't have been a big problem at all in any situation. And with him just not being an active PvPer and players not actively PvPing, I mean, how are you going to get these feats done? How are you going to get this done when you have no players participating? Because I don't queue PvP whenever I do log it, and no one's queuing PvP on the villain side. The heroes, I don't know, but again, you just don't have that amount of players to properly queue PvP, and I felt like that was fine, pay some people so I can actually participate in the match. Because I'm sure if Drew wanted to, I'm sure if he had the people that would queue into it, he wouldn't have to pay people. He would just go in and play. But I don't even think he has the player base to actually play PvP to even get it in there. And like I said, overall, I think what he did was fine, and he got people into PvP. So that's all I really wanted to add. But I felt like, again, he should have definitely not been having any trouble with that. And the PvP scene is just not enough players. Just that simple. Not enough players to participate. But I'm going to hand it back over to Drew.
All right, thanks again, Bart, for giving us your insight on the game and your thoughts on it. All right, so right now I unfortunately cannot log into the game. Apparently, there's an update happening. But again, just talking about this issue. Some of you may be having it. You may have experienced this in the past before, and you may not necessarily want to have voiced your concern regarding it. But like I say, in-game cache is a feature that is legal to all players. Okay, now obviously, if you want more of it, there are features in the game that you can do to get more of it. You know, you have your unlimited escrows that we all know about, and then you have your subscription. Okay, the subscription is of course the best option, gives you unlimited cash, and it's your cash. You can do whatever you want to do it. So if I want to log in and pay each player in DC Universe 100 cash, I can do that. It's my cash. I'm free to do that. Okay? But again, going back to this GM and what he's saying, trading cash for intentional PvP losses is not intended gameplay, whereas replay badge resets is a normal game mechanic. Now, I just want to touch on what he's saying here. So basically, what he's saying is replay badges. We all know about the replay badge system. Okay, this is basically the main thing in PvE. Replay badges. So if I didn't want to trade cash, then I could also offer someone a reset to join my PvP groups. And would he still suspend me if I did that? Okay, so if I'm offering an LFG, everyone sees me do it all the time. If I'm offering free resets to join my PvP groups, would I still be suspended for exploiting the game doing that? Okay, because remember, the GM said it himself. Replay badge resets is a normal game mechanic. So I am actually complying with the game by offering replay badges to other players. But he's also saying that trading cash is not intended. How is trading cash to other players for intentional PvP losses or intentional PvP matches not intended gameplay? There's a lot of things about this game that's not intended. Soloing a raid is not intended. Okay? Four-manning a raid is not intended. Getting a group of DPS only players is not intended. These are all player driven things. Okay? Player driven things that the player base themselves bestow upon themselves, and so they choose how they want to play. Okay? I'm just confused again as to why this is the case. If you want PvP feats and you want to get them done, as it is right now, it is very difficult to get those 8v8s and very difficult to get those particular feats. You can search in LFG, you can search through your friends list, and even if you were to get people, let's say best case scenario, you were to get people for those feats, it's going to be hard to keep those people for those feats simply because either the interest is not there or some of these feats are very grindy. 10,000 kills, you got to kill 10,000 players. That's a grindy feat. So if you want to keep people, people need an incentive, a reason to stay in the group, a reason to keep farming these feats. And whether it be cash, in-game cash, whether it be resets, whether it be exobits, whether it just be them being just willing to kiss your butt to join your league, whatever incentive it is that they want, there's a reason to join the group. There's a reason to farm these feats. So again, in conclusion, I just want to know, and I just want to hear back from everyone else. You can post your comments on this video, your thoughts of this. Some of you agree with what I'm saying. Some of you may not agree with me. But please definitely keep your comments, your feedback as factual as possible, just like I have. I've delivered the facts on my case. This is not opinionated. These are all facts that I'm talking about. And I'm also sharing my beliefs based off of those facts, what I believe should be the right thing to do. I've invested 3+ years into this game. It is not my intention to violate rules. It is not my intention to, destroy or any type of negative thing about this game. I love the game. I've pumped a lot of time and money into the game. I am arguably the most hardcore PvE player in this entire game. Okay, most of you know this. Most of you may hate me for it, but that's a fact. Okay, I'm very passionate about this game, and I want to see this game improve. I want to invest more money into the game. I want to pump more time into the game. But when I have things like this stopping me, that's holding me back from doing this, it's very difficult. Very, very difficult for me to do that. Bart has already expressed his concern. We've seen a declining population in the game. I'm pretty sure that's one of the main reasons we have crossplay coming up, is to gather more people, to get more people involved into the game. Okay, I definitely don't want to see Daybreak lose any more people. I don't want to leave, but I'm just voicing my concerns regarding this, why this is wrong, in my honest opinion. Again, if someone wants to trade cash, if someone wants to pay someone 100 million cash to join his group, he is entitled to do so. It's his cash. He can do whatever he wants to do. Okay? Just a quick snapshot on my character as well. One lastly, this is just me. Information about myself from the Solo Elite website. Um, Everything about me. Okay, I've been playing since October 2012. 250 skill points, 152 max, max CR. I have the best gears possible in the game. I have the OP belt, the OP gloves. I have every single piece of equipment that is top notch. Okay, and I always have. Since tier 5 days, I have always been top geared. Okay, full traces in time. That was Paradox Wave. Then came A and B. Okay, I was full vestments in full vestments in rage, full vestments gear, and I had both OP rings. Okay, then came Amazon Fury Part 1. That was full vendor geared. I was full vendor geared, still had the OP rings. Then came Lockdown, the tier 6 raids, Artifacts in Necropolis. I was full Imperial Insect and had the OP neck. Okay, then came Law, Love and War. Full Predator gear. That was the female inspired gear. I was full Predator geared. Full 97. Full. Everything is full set. Okay. Then came the almighty Throne of the Dead. First ever Elite Raid. Throne of the Dead. Halls of Hades. Labyrinth of Lost Souls. I was the only player in the entire game to be 116 CR, and that's me farming the first 2 bosses. We all know Hades was impossible for almost 2 months. I farmed the first 2 bosses. I got all the gear, and then of course Hades. Yes, of course I used Clown Box on Hades to make him easier because he was impossible. There was no other way of beating him, as quickly as possible. I did beat him legitimately. Of course I did, and there's still a video up there. But by the time Hades was possible, the next DLC was on the horizon. So going through the legitimate way or the normal way of beating him didn't seem feasible, so I took the shortcut. Yes, I did the clown box method. It was still fine. It's a power that's used to the game. I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't do anything that is unjust. I just took the method of least resistance that some of you all aren't willing to do. And I did that, and it got me to 116 CR, and I was very proud of it. Okay? The only player in the entire game to hit 116 CR. Then came Happiness Home. Happiness Home, we all know about that. Yes, full. I was full 110 CR. Okay, full elite geared. 126 was the max. I hit it. Full. Episode 15 came, Bombshell Paradox. 131 CR. I was full. Full raid gear. 120 was the raid gear then. Okay, I was full. Full set. Episode 16, Desecrated Cathedral came. Full 123. 137 CR was the max then. I was full geared. Okay. And then of course, Unholy Matrimony, episode 17 came. The CR rose to 143. I was full raid gear. I got everything from Unholy Matrimony. Episode 18 came. Blackest Day. Man, Elite Black Hand. That was a hell of a fight. Rose this year to 146. No problem. I still destroyed that raid. First 2 boss farm. Eventually we got a hang of Elite Black Hand. But of course it was done. Full set. Episode 19 came. Demon's Plan Elite. Oh yeah, that was a really good alert. I enjoyed it myself. Stepped it up a notch. Congratulations, devs. That's the kind of alert we need to have. But it wasn't enough for me, for someone of my caliber. It got destroyed as well. I got the OP hands. I got all the elite gear. Moving on to the next episode, episode 20, Blackest Night. Currently the top raid of the game. Still not enough for someone like me. The OP belt was snatched. All of the gear was snatched easily within a couple hours of farming. Moving on and now waiting for crossplay and episode 21. I am a dedicated hardcore PvE player. Always am, always will. I love PvE. It is my burning desire, my burning passion. I only want to step into PvP for feats, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get those feats, whatever legitimate thing it takes to get those feats, whether it be offering people resets, whether it be offering people exobits, whether it be offering people in-game cash. These are all resources, legal resources that I can use to give people an incentive to join groups and play the game. Hopefully this all makes sense. Hopefully someone out there listens. Hopefully Daybreak, most importantly, listens and don't suspend or don't issue out these things for illegitimate reason. If worst case scenario, something happens and a suspension or a ban is issued for an unjust reason, you can rest assured all hell is going to be raised. But I'm just making this video to open up some eyes, to get some insight on how to keep your players. Because as a business, that's what it comes down to, is keeping your players. I want to give you my money. Question is, do you want my business? I'm willing to follow all rules, willing to do everything. But if I see something that's just not right, I'm going to voice my concern about it. And this is just one of those things that's just not right. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope everybody is ready for crossplay. I hope everybody is ready for the next game updates that's about to hit. I've done enough complaining, enough ranting. I don't do it very often, but this is one of those things I had to get off my chest. And I will see everybody in the game. Until then, as always, stay competent.